All right, a very warm welcome to our Miracle Mondays. My name is Reverend Lisa Windsor, and I am so happy to invite you to our Modern Miracles Academy and our Modern Miracles community. If you are new here, know that we join almost every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific with A Course in Miracles classes and study groups and roundtable discussions to support you on your journey with this beautiful spiritual teaching, this transformative spiritual teaching, and this foundational spiritual teaching. If you have been seeking for a spiritual path, because there's a lot of seeking that goes on our spiritual journeys, A Course in Miracles can be one that we come to and actually experience a full stop. For example, when I found the Course, I was guided intuitively to actually place everything else on the shelf for a time. And my guidance said, just focus in on this for right now. And it brought clarity, it answered questions, it built a foundation so that down the road, when I was ready, I could start to look at other spiritual teachings and other truths and other reflections of things, whether it was quantum physics or a different religion. And I could see this line of universal truth running through everything because I had this incredible foundation. And so some of us, we have a full stop with A Course in Miracles because it really does bring the answer with a capital A that we are seeking for. But it's not enough just to find and know that this course speaks the truth. This course is a course, it's a curriculum. And for us to then experience that truth, to know the truth of God, to know the truth of who we are called to apply that curriculum in our lives. We study the text and the theoretical foundations. We apply daily lessons through the workbook. And we eventually come to the manual for teachers that answers so many of our questions that we have as we step into what the course calls being a minister of God or a teacher of love. Now, our Modern Miracles Academy very much focuses on spiritual leadership, training spiritual ministers, training spiritual coaches, training those that are feeling this deep calling, like, how do I extend God's love? How do I extend this message of hope? How do I extend healing into this world? Like, how can I be of service? And of course, what is like really called for us is that this message the course brings, it says, you cannot give what you do not have. And so in order to extend that love and that peace, we first have to have that for ourselves. And that's exactly what the curriculum walks us through. We undo fear in the mind. We undo guilt in our experience. We start to see a new vision. And it's so beautiful. So we actually receive the gifts of God. We receive his peace, his light, his love, and then in perfect readiness, we have it to extend and to share. So if you ever feel like a deep calling in terms of spirituality and you haven't been able to land on something that really translates for you, you're always welcome to come and check out Modern Miracles Academy. A Course in Miracles is a universal spiritual teaching. It uses Christian terminology, but it is actually not Christian in nature. And so, yeah, it's actually a beautiful option for so many that have not found that specific one that like really lands with them. Okay, so I am teaching about the miracle principles from chapter 1 of A Course in Miracles. And there are 50 miracle principles. And this year we have had the beautiful blessing of spending time going deep with these miracle principles. And I've said many times before that so many of us, we've read through these miracle principles probably multiple times because they're at the very beginning of the text. They are the very first section of chapter 1. But they haven't necessarily made a lot of sense to us. They're a little complicated. They're actually speaking the laws of God and not the laws of this world. And so we've had this calling from the Holy Spirit, from our inner teachers, Jesus and the Holy Spirit, to actually take a deep step back, just to step back and to take a closer look at these principles. And it's been really beautiful. And they're actually being posted on our YouTube channel so that you can review them and you can go back to them and you can even go all the way through. One ultimately will be ready to go to 50. So today we are talking about miracle principles 41 to 45. Okay, so we're getting there. We're almost kind of coming towards completion with this. And they're so rich. So I'm excited. I actually love the material that he's taking us through. He, again, so much of A Course in Miracles is about a foundation. Do we have something sturdy to stand on? Do we have something anchoring us in the truth? And so these miracle principles are part of training us to understand the nature of the miracle so that we can become miracle workers. We're teachers of love, we're ministers of God, and we are miracle workers. So we have to understand the nature of miracles. We have to know how to work miracles in our minds. And the miracle then extends that love to others. Okay, so we're going to check out Miracle Principle 41. Let's look together. Okay, so Miracle Principle 41 says, wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. They thus correct or atone for the faulty perception of lack. Okay, I'll say that one more time. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. They thus correct or atone for the faulty perception of lack. Now, if you're kind of new here, you might look at this principle and say, I can understand why you maybe read past all these miracle principles quickly, because it seems kind of complicated, right? But it's actually saying something really, really beautiful. So I'm excited to kind of translate that for you so you start to go, oh my gosh, like I love actually what this is saying. And if I just take a little pause, if I just take a deeper look, I can see that it's actually really here to support my understanding of the miracle. Okay, so what we're kind of doing is we're realizing that the miracle restores our perception, right? It restores a sense of wholeness to our perception. When we perceive through the ego, we are perceiving through a lens of fragmentation and separation. Everything that we see is reflecting fragmentation, separation, and lack. So in this, it says a faulty perception of lack. That's how we see when we're joined with the ego thought system. And when we shift to the Holy Spirit's thought system, we now see through a perception of wholeness. We see through a perception of unity, what we might say like a unified perception, right? Where everything is seen working together, that there's a connectedness between all things. So the ego, because when we look through the ego's lens, it's a lens of separation. It convinces us that we are incomplete, and it convinces us that we are in need of something external to feel whole. And so it sends us seeking, right? It sends us outside seeking for completion. We seek for completion through relationships, through success, through accomplishing goals, through material things, whatever it is that we think is going to help us feel complete. So miracles actually, they correct this faulty perception by showing us that we are inherently already whole, that we are already complete, that we are already loved. There's no need to be seeking outside of ourselves when we already feel the wholeness of who we are. That's what the miracle brings. It brings that recognition. So the ego sends us on a seeking mission. And I love this thought. It says, when a miracle occurs, it gently interrupts this cycle of seeking, right? Reminding us that we have everything because we are one with God. Lack is not real. It's just the ego's trick to keep us looking outside of ourselves, to keep us seeking externally. So the miracle is really shifting our mindset by gently reminding us that lack is an illusion. And instead of going out to fill the void, which will never get filled. That's the thing. The ego's dictate is seek and do not find. Seek for wholeness, seek for fulfillment, and you will never find it because it's not out there. It's, of course, the truth is it's here. But the miracle dissolves the belief in lack. Like when you're in the miracle mindedness, you have no thought of lack. It's dissolved. And you realize that that is an illusion, that you could never be apart from God's love. So I actually like this little prompt here. I want you to think about this for a second. Think of a desire that you have right now, something that you're desiring in your life. Just let it come to mind. And now consider this. What if this desire is actually a distraction from realizing that you are already complete? Imagine if that desire that you're holding, something that you want, something that you're seeking for outside, that's actually a distraction of the ego to keep you from knowing right in this moment that you are whole and complete. Would you be willing to let that desire go to the light? Would you be willing to let it go? The miracle is undoing our belief in separation. So the atonement means that the separation from God never happened. That's the acceptance of the atonement. The miracle reflects the wholeness, the unity, and it absolutely undoes the belief in fragmentation. When we perceive through that wholeness, through that lens of wholeness and holiness, we could say, we naturally align with the atonement, with God's plan, with the Holy Spirit's plan of the correction, of the healing, because we remember that God's love completes us and that we are already complete in his love. So another question you could ask yourself is, where am I still believing in lack? Where am I still believing in lack? And you could ask the Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Because we want to ask the teacher of who perceptually shows us through the lens of wholeness and unity to see it differently. We want to ask that teacher to show us to see it differently, right? To correct for that lack. So the miracle ends this restless seeking by showing us that everything that we truly want is already within us. And so we can affirm, truly, we can affirm that we are whole. I am whole. I lack nothing. And in God, I am complete. I am whole. I lack nothing. And in God, in his love, I am complete. So the takeaway, right, for this principle, I'll read it again. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. That's the content of the miracle we see through a lens of wholeness. They thus correct or atone for the faulty perception of lack that the ego shows us. So the miracle reminds us that our wholeness is inherent, not something to attain, and they help us stop seeking outside of ourselves and instead rest in our divine completeness. Can we rest in our divine completeness? Okay, let's go on to our next miracle principle. Number 42. A major contribution of miracles is their strength in releasing you from your false sense of isolation, deprivation, and lack. A major contribution of miracles is their strength in releasing you from your false sense of isolation, deprivation, and lack. Here are those words again. There's that lack word, right? That's a false sense of lack. That is the way when we're perceiving with the ego, we are viewing through a false sense of isolation, deprivation, and lack. This is a powerful principle, right? We want the miracles if it will shift us away from that experience. So the miracle is ultimately going to liberate us from a sense of isolation. That's powerful. It is going to liberate us from a sense of isolation. The ego's belief in separation always leads to feelings of isolation, deprivation, fear, and lack. But the miracle comes along and it breaks these chains by showing us that we are never alone. We are never without support. And I love this. Just a few days ago, we were practicing the lesson, when I am healed, I am never healed alone. When I am healed, I am never healed alone. The miracle teaches us that we are never alone in this. We are never truly alone. How can we be alone when we are unified and one? We are one spirit, one love, one in God. We are not separate. So isolation is actually a mental construct. It's not a reality. It's a construct. It's a belief that we hold. And the miracle shows us that we are always interconnected through the mind of God. So if you need to look for connection, go beyond the forms of this world and connect in mind. Notice that the mind can go out and we can reach each other through our thoughts. We can reach each other through the light within us. We can reach each other by extending the blessing. When we feel lonely or deprived, it is simply a sign that we have aligned with the ego. Just remember that. It's just a sign that we've aligned with the wrong thought system, right? And it's also a sign that we need a miracle, right? Because we know the miracle comes in. The strength of the miracle corrects for that. So we are moving away from this illusion of isolation. The ego, again, wants us to think that we are alone and struggling in this world, in this hostile world. But the miracle is revealing to us that we are never separate from God or from one another. So just for a moment, reflect on a moment when you felt isolated. Just see if something comes to mind when you felt isolated. And then ask, what if I was never really alone? What if I was actually held and supported by God, but I just didn't know that? What if I was never actually alone? What if I just thought I was? Because that's what the ego wants us to believe. Now we know that the miracle is reconnecting us with our source. It's reconnecting us with God. It's dissolving our belief in separateness. It's restoring our awareness of divine connection. So in this moment, just to remember the truth, I want you to just close your eyes and extend a blessing to someone in your life that you feel a little distant from. Extend them some love, just extend them a blessing. Connect. And we remember that we are always connected in the mind of God, and we are always connected in spirit. And take a breath and open your eyes when you're ready. I love that. Right away, we're doing the work. It's like the ego tries to say we're isolated, and what do? We're guided to connect. Just connect. Yeah. Okay. Moving along. Miracle Principle 43. Miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind or a state of miracle readiness. Miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind or a state of miracle readiness. This is important. So we want to work miracles in our lives. We want to work miracles in our minds. We want miracles to work through us. There's some things that are required. Miracle readiness is required for the miracle to come through. Okay? We can talk about the idea. There's a lesson in the course, and it says, miracles are seen in light. Right? Miracles are seen in light. We cannot be in darkness and have the miracles flow through us. We cannot be in the dark and see through the lens of the miracle, right? It's one or the other. So this is important. If we want to experience miracles, we have to have a desire to align our minds with peace. We have to have a desire to come into a space of miracle readiness. So what we're talking about is how do we cultivate this sense of miracle readiness that the Course is talking about. The Holy Spirit tells us miracles are not at random, right? They arise from a mindset that is open, that is willing, and that is aligned with love. Miracles arise from a mindset that is open and willing and aligned with love. So to experience miracles consistently, we have to cultivate a state of miracle readiness. A state of miracle readiness means that at any moment we are ready for the miracle to flow through us, that love can flow through us, that the mind is open, that the channel is available for the miracle to flow through. That means that the mind is always prepared to see through the lens of the Holy Spirit, to see his vision, through his wholeness, right? Remembering that's the perception of wholeness and unity. So being miracle ready means we have a willing heart, an open mind. We don't try to make miracles happen, right? That's not how this works. That's not how it works. We actually prepare our minds to be open to the Holy Spirit's guidance. The Holy Spirit is the one that brings the miracle through. We allow the miracle to happen by staying open and by staying willing. So this miracle readiness is basically the willingness to question the ego's perceptions and interpretations and choose peace instead of conflict. It means we're willing to surrender our own judgments and say, I don't know, but I'm willing to see. I'm willing to be shown. So just even think of this statement when you're speaking and connecting with your inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. When it comes to anything that you're kind of confronting, saying, Holy Spirit, I am willing to see this differently. I am ready for a miracle, right? That clears the mind of everything you think and everything you think you know, and it opens your mind to seeing it differently. You're asking the Holy Spirit for his help in showing you his perception. Now, we know that it is not necessarily easy to develop miracle readiness because it requires a lot of mind training. But the beauty is that we've been given A Course in Miracles, which is a curriculum to ready our mind for miracles. It's literally what it is. And it requires that we participate in the undoing of fear and the undoing of guilt in our minds because, like I said earlier, we cannot give what we do not have. So we cannot extend love through our minds if our mind is not in a loving space. And so the daily forgiveness practice is foundational to these Course teachings. And it means that we are ready for miracles when we require consistent forgiveness in our lives. It becomes like our function. It says forgiveness is your function because that forgiveness is what clears the mind and makes it ready for the miracle. It clears the mind of grievances, it clears the mind of judgments, and it makes space for the Holy Spirit. You can't have grievances in the mind and also have the miracle in the mind. It's one or the other. So I love this idea of like forgiveness. It's moving that shift from fear to love. It's moving from a mindset filled with grievances and judgments and false perceptions and clearing that away, being willing to let that go, so willing to let it go to the light of the Holy Spirit. And then we make space for the miracle, for the new perception to flow through the mind. It's such a blessing, right? Like it's just like we're just making space for love. Like that is the practice. What else is required in miracle readiness is learning to stay present, learning to be present right now. The Holy Spirit and Jesus, you will not find them in the past. You will not find them in the future. That is past thinking, future fear. You will find them in this very present moment. That is where the miracle exists. That is where God's love abides. So we're learning to stay present in the moment. That opens us up to the miracles. And we will notice, and that's why the mind training is so important, that the ego is always trying to pull us into past and future thinking, right? So just take a moment, even right now, a moment of silence. Just simply be present. Just be present in this moment. And say, in this moment, I am open. I release the need to control. I welcome the miracles. Notice yourself relax. And just be open. We let go of control and we let love enter. We let love take the lead. That is being miracle ready. And we know that we have to learn to release the resistance that comes up along the way. Sometimes we think that we are willing, that we have willingness, but we still hold on to subtle resistance, right? That control is hard to let go of sometimes. But true miracle readiness means not just wanting peace, but actually releasing control, right? Actually letting go. And so what I invite you to do is, make that a practice. And what I think is very powerful is being engaged in a present moment conversation with the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, I'm holding judgments, but I'm going to give them to you, and I'm going to ask to see through your eyes. Right? Just that very request, that true desire for peace of mind right now makes us miracle ready. Let us stay open to being wrong about everything we think, right? Can we just be okay being wrong about everything we think we know, everything we think that how things should go, and open up to the miracles? And I assure you, they're more fresh and more amazing than you could come up with in terms of the new perceptions that come. I am willing to let go of how I think things should be so that miracles can move through me. So miracle readiness is about right-mindedness. It is about being aligned with the Holy Spirit in this present moment. It is all about willingness and an open mind, right? And if we read the principle one more time, and it says, miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind or a state of miracle readiness. So that willingness to come into presence, to drop our own judgments, to drop all the control, that's where the miracles arise, right? That's how we become miracle workers, is that we actually become like really seasoned, really practiced at being present, open, and willing. So good. So, so good. Okay. Next one is Miracle Principle 44. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. So here we are, I think I mentioned that earlier, is that we are bumping up against Christian terminology, which on some level can be triggering for people. But I want to assure you that when the Course talks about the Christ, It's talking about our true self as the radiant light, as the radiant love that God created us, our true self that is whole and beautiful and perfect and innocent. And Christ is just one word that we use. We often use self with a capital S. We talk about being the Son of God or the light of the world. These are all just words that we use to try and explain the essence of our true identity. So just roll with it right now, even if the word doesn't seem resonant, okay? So the miracle actually reflects like an inner recognition of the Christ within or of the luminous light that we are within. That is the true self. That is the part that is innocent, sinless, whole, and perfectly loving. Accepting the atonement means, remember, we realize that the separation from God has never occurred. The separation from our true identity has never occurred, and that our true identity remains intact, that the Christ, nothing's ever happened to who we truly are, that we are still shining and extending and loving and whole. We just forgot who we were. How can we forget who we are? Some aspect of ourselves forgot who we are, and now we're waking up to that remembrance. So, acknowledging the Christ within, the light within us, means accepting our innocence and our perfection. And when you see yourself as Christ, as when you see the light in yourself, when you remember that light, you will automatically extend forgiveness to others because you recognize your brother as yourself. You will automatically see the light and the Christ in the other because you see it and remember it in yourself. We are one. There is no difference between us. And so to recognize our true identity, which is a shared identity, means that when I see it in myself, I see it in you, or as I see you, I will see it in myself, right? It's together. So the miracle shifts perception from seeing ourselves as flawed humans, the way the ego looks through as separate people, to recognizing the innocent Christ within. The miracle shifts our perception of how we see ourselves and how we see others. So you will maybe recognize this affirmation that comes so often in the Course that says, I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. Right? Now we're not looking at others' bodies. We're not looking at our own body. We're looking at the Christ. We're looking at the light, the shining radiant light within, the spirit of who we are. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. And because the atonement means that we are realizing that the separation from God never happened, we are remembering we are still one in Him. Just take a moment and think of someone that you are struggling to forgive. Just think of someone. You can picture their body. You can picture them with their flaws. Just take a moment and think of someone that you feel like it's a struggle to forgive. And now say this silently to them. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. We are both innocent. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. We are both innocent. When we embrace our Christ identity, we will naturally extend that forgiveness, that love, and that peace to others. It means we are living in non-judgment now. It means that we see the other, that we see everyone as part of the one self. So the miracles will reflect the awareness of the Christ within. It's very powerful. We want to remember who we are, and we want to remember who our brothers are. So just bring your awareness back to the space, knowing that you have the power to extend blessings to your brothers and also to affirm that the Christ in you can see the Christ in them. That's who you see when you remember who you are. Okay, we have one more miracle principle to cover. This one's a good one, as they all are. A miracle is never lost. It may touch many people you have not even met and produce undreamed of changes in situations of which you are not even aware. Number 45, a miracle is never lost. It may touch many people you have not even met and produce undreamed of changes in situations in which you are not even aware. Oh, yes. God's plan is functioning on all kinds of levels that we are not aware. We are one mind, and the miracle is for all of us. We share one mind, and the miracle is for all. They are not confined to immediate situations or even very specific situations. Their effects extend beyond what we can perceive, impacting others in ways that we cannot foresee. The oneness of our mind means that when one mind is healed, the whole mind benefits. That's why we say when we are healed, we are never healed alone. We are never healed alone. This principle emphasizes the interconnectedness of all minds. When we choose forgiveness, when we choose love, it radiates out through the collective mind. The miracle's impact is always greater than we can imagine. It's always greater than we can imagine. So let us remember that miracles absolutely affect the collective mind because we are one mind. Since minds are joined, a single miracle can heal far beyond our awareness. And when we choose peace, it brings light to our one mind, our shared mind. To choose peace is to bring light and awareness to our one mind. So just take a moment and think of a small act of kindness that you've done. Just think of a little act of kindness that you've done, maybe today. And I want you to think about its ripple effect, the possibility of the ripple effect that may have brought comfort to countless others through that little act of kindness that you saw in isolation, perhaps, but that the Spirit uses expansively. Let us trust the ripple effect, okay? Sometimes we doubt whether our inner work makes a difference. This principle is reassuring us that no miracle is ever wasted. No miracle is ever wasted. Just think of a recent shift you've had in your thinking, that you saw something through a new lens, through a new perspective, and how that actually has brought a positive impact to others. It's influenced others, even though you haven't met them. If you can change your mind, the mind can change. And it actually, I think about how, sometimes inventive ideas or brilliant ideas come, and around the world, it's like 3 or 4 parts of the mind in different places have found that same idea. They all come to light at the same time. It's the same thing. We're influencing each other. We are one with each other. So how, it's like, it's so beautiful to think of it that way, to think, wow, like my shift in mind has helped the mind shift. Okay. Give me one moment. Okay, now, together, we are choosing peace for this world, right? Every thought of love and forgiveness contributes to the healing of this world. Every miracle contributes to the healing of this world. Right now, together, let us extend love and light and blessings to the world. Let us just take a moment and extend that love. Our choice is for peace that blesses the world. Sending the love, the blessing. It's for the whole. Let us remember The miracle's effects are limitless. And when we align with love, the whole world is blessed. The whole mind is blessed. Okay, so that is our miracle principles, 41 to 45. So powerful. And we're doing the work right in this space. We're doing the work seeing how these miracles are influencing so much more than we can even imagine. And again, we are working towards becoming miracle workers. We are working towards becoming miracle ready. And so I encourage you, I really encourage you, if you are curious about A Course in Miracles, if you are stalling and having like some delays with your course learning, with your course journey, we are here with so much encouragement. This course works in our minds. It really does align us with peace. It really does bring incredible results. First in our own lives, because we have to receive that love first and then extend it out to each other. So Modern Miracles Academy, we are here for you. You can visit our website if you're interested at www.modernmiracles.com. And I am here extending the blessing to you, thanking you deeply for your presence and for joining me on this beautiful journey as we are looking at A Course in Miracles, its teachings, and all these beautiful miracle principles. Bless you.